I think young men need to be masculine. I believe that the reason that guys like me or guys like Tate get so much of a following is because they've taken these characters away.
I hope that with the films that I make, I get to change that and I get to make badass movies where guys are like killing a bunch of people and like blowing shit up and like doing rad shit, you know?
Yeah.
So what's your take on that? Because I love Hollywood more than anything, but I see it time and time again with the shows and the movies where the dudes are just like pitiful.
I remember when it was cool to be a competent bad at, like when Rambo and Jean-Claude Van Damme and all these movies when they were really action heroes. And I believe that the reason that guys like me or guys like Tate get so much of a following is because they've taken these characters away. I was just sitting with Andrew at his house in Romania, and I had a photo sent to me by a young man, and it was two posters, one of me, one of Andrew, side by side on the wall, framed, and a quote I said, a quote he said. And I said, look at this. And he goes, dang. I said, bro, you know what? That used to be Rambo. And he goes, bruv, I know. It's because in a lot of ways, I feel like they've taken superheroes away from young men. And I think that they would immediately say this because they think it's toxically masculine and all these other things. But the truth is, and even though it's repetitive, I think young men need to be masculine. And like Peterson or whoever else would say, they need to also be capable and also be capable of danger and be violent if they have to be. And that's not wrong as long as they can love and protect the people around them that they should be caring for. And most of those, and I would say all of those movies from the 90s, 80s, and 90s, it was a good guy doing bad things to protect and provide and take care of people that he cared for. And I think that that's not a negative thing for a young man to see at all. So I'd love to see them put real action heroes back in the movies. It seems like they're just redoing a bunch of comic books, but man, I'd love to see one like fresh out the gate, new script, not another Rambo movie. Like make a new superhero.
Well, my guy for that is Mr. John Wick.
You like Wick?
I've
never seen it.
You have never seen John Wick?
No, man. I'm not a big Keanu fan, actually.
I love him because of The Matrix. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of The Matrix.
I was watching I watched The Matrix for the first time when I was in Romania. Tristan made me watch it. And
what did you think about The Matrix? This is interesting. I had no idea I was going to talk to you about The Matrix.
It makes perfect sense, bro. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like, I understand why Andrew calls it The Matrix.
And I get into arguments with my friend Abraham about this all the time because he's a big believer in like big conspiracy theories. And I'm like...
You a Tin Hatter, bro? Are you a Tin Hatter?
Yeah. No. So to me, it's like, bro, we try to organize these things and they don't work.
Yeah.
Like we have massive companies trying to be organized to do things and they don't work. So I don't give the conspiracies as much credit, but I do understand and agree that we are in some sort of web of things that happen and work. And we need to kind of like what you were saying of taking a high level view of everything and being able to see all of those connections and then make different decisions. To me, that's what it means to break out of the matrix.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. So the real answer is freedom always. And one thing you have to do yourself, one of the biggest parts about getting out the matrix is actually to free your own mind. Because if you don't free your own mind first, you'll never be able to create the financial freedom. You'll never be able to get out of the rat race trap of how poor people or trapped people think. So you have to first free your own mind, take the pill. And that takes some digesting, by the way. It's not just pop the pill and then, oh, you're good. It's going to take time to like unpack a lot of old beliefs you had, thinking poorly, like thinking that money can't flow to you abundantly, thinking it takes money to make money, thinking that, you know, only rich people can live a certain life. Like you have to unpack a lot of these things. Maybe female nature, maybe you're super, super blue pilled and you can't hold a relationship because you're sending flowers and poems too much. And she's like disgusted by you because you're just all over her.
With kids specifically, the one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is for the young guy that doesn't feel ready. Like I didn't feel ready when I had my son. I was in college in my sophomore year. I have been in America for like a couple of years. And then it happened and I was happy, but I'm also crazy. I come from Cuba. Like we have kids, like we were 3 kids, 3 brothers, and like we had nothing. So we were like kids just like, but now I encounter like young men and they're afraid of having kids. They're afraid of the financial burden. They're afraid of being trapped by like the woman. They're afraid of so many things. And to me, like being a father is one of the best things I've experienced in my entire life. So what's your take on that, fatherhood?
If you're a young man and you get a woman pregnant at an early age and you're not ready financially, it's not the end of the world. Here's the good news for you. And this is what you need to hold closely to your heart. If you succeed in business, the price of a child will be fucking pennies. Like my kids have everything you could possibly have. And I don't even look at it. Like, yeah, cool. A baby thing, $700. I don't give a shit. Whatever. Like, so if you actually hit your goal, that child is not going to affect your life in a financial way. And I think that's their biggest fear is financial and support. 2, yeah, I agree that a young man should not set out to have children until he has set his life up. I like to believe that at least wait till 30. Ideally, 35 would be the age I pick. And that's the age I picked to conceive. So it's not always going to go as planned. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. But anybody that believes that they can't be successful because they have a child is a coward. Number one.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, they blame. Oh, you know, I had these kids and I got these bills. I'm like, bruv, you're going to have problems in this world. You didn't succeed in abundance enough where a child and a light bill was nothing to you. And so for any young man that has a girl pregnant right now or is freaking out because he's got a kid on the way or whatever it is, listen, brother, you can go out earn having 20 kids. You just have to go down the path and go do the work and go be competent where people need you and create value. And you'll make enough money to where if your girl got pregnant tomorrow, you'd be like, okay, cool. Hope it's a boy, winking face, whatever. Like it doesn't matter. Right. And so I would just stress to anybody that's stressed about the subject or worried that if you're in that position, listen, man, you could build a business in 18 months. You'll be laughing, being like, hey, we should get you pregnant again. You know, so that's how I look at it personally. And there's a time in my life it would have scared me. And I can certainly tell you now, if I got pregnant with someone tomorrow, I wouldn't be concerned with it at all. I'd be like, okay, good. Let's celebrate.
Yeah.
You know,
the only one thing I would add to that is whatever the stress, the fear, dude, when you have that kid, nothing.
Yeah, you don't want to send it back. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, bro. Like my son,
it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
And like my son had leukemia when he was 2.
Yeah,
and it was like hard. Like I was right out of college.
Yeah,
he got sick. My baby girl she was like about a year old. It was like the worst time of my life. It was really hard. And even through those times and going through all of that, bro, it's like, I wouldn't change anything. I had my son when I was like 24. I wouldn't change anything. I know like with the timing and whatever. And I agree with you. Like you should wait until you're older. You have a business. Like it makes everything easier. But even if it's happening right now, when anyone is like going through it and they're super young and they don't know what the fuck to do, you're gonna be okay.
Dude, I think it's a blessing. By the time you're 40 something, he'll be ready to step in and help.
Yeah, he's already helping, bro.
A legacy.
Yeah, he's already helping. Like we did a podcast episode with him. Like he was here last week.
Yeah. How old is he now?
He's 8.
Badass. I love that.
And I took him to Tom's house and he was like with Tom, like looking at the video games and like designing his own video games. Like it's amazing. So I'm super excited about him and I'm excited about the future for kids and young people and all that.
One of the biggest parts about getting out the matrix is actually to free your own mind. Anybody that believes that they can't be successful because they have a child is a coward.